Every country that has ever laid down track has a locomotive ubiquitous to its railways. These locomotives mold the image of the local railways. It's what the people living there think of when they think of a train. Try it. If you're American, you're imagining the GE C36 or Amtrak's GE Genesis. Russians might imagine the ER2T, or if you're British, you're probably thinking of the Pacers. I'm just kidding. The Pacers are finally retired now, 40 years after they were introduced as a temporary replacement. The slow development of British passenger rail is another topic, though. I mean, they didn't stop using steam until the late 1960s, and plenty of heritage rail mains remain. However, this video focuses on a plucky Scandinavian country known for its fjords, socialism, and reliance on oil exports. Norway. I have never been to Norway. Honestly, I don't think I could afford it. A colleague of mine used to do construction work up there, and apparently the cost of living, not to speak of the cost of being a tourist there, is higher than I had imagined or expected. But for the second half of the 20th century, one locomotive dominated Norway's rail lines, the DI3. After World War II, Norway's steam trains had become old, worn out, and weren't exactly efficient, so there was a push to get rid of steam altogether.
Alright, this is total disgust here! Total disgust!
An uncommon practice at the time in Europe. Except, you know. Electric trains were introduced in Norway all the way back in the 1920s, but electrification seemed too expensive outside the busier lines. In 1952, however, the parliament did decide that 50% of the rail network should be electrified, which amounted up to 80% of Norway's rail traffic. The other 20% would be diesel, establishing a program in 1955 for essentially telling steam engines,
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck.
For that, an EMD F7 based engine was tested in 1954. Those would be built, however, under license by Nyquist och Holm AB, or NoHAB, in Trollhättan, Sweden, and NSB gave it the classification DI3. They did a bunch of tests. There was a single fault or something found, and the engine was sent to repairs, after which it got sent on a marketing tour, reaching as far as Ankara in 1955. In July of 1955, further tests were conducted. The DI3 was used 8 days in a row, then spent a single day in the depot. NSB signed an agreement with NoHAB for delivery of 5 further locomotives. There was some debate over the order, as a domestic manufacturer had offered a similar engine, but apparently nobody really gave a shit, so the order was completed in July of 1957. In March 1957, NSB received permission to buy another 8 locomotives. The delivery started in October and was completed on 1st of June 1958. The order was supplemented with another 6 trains with delivery in 1958. Further 5 trains were received in 1959 after Finnish state railways, Valtion Rautatiet, cancelled their order for political reasons. Okay, so at this point I could bore you with the details on which lines it operated on, but who gives a shit? They mostly ran north to Trondheim and other less busier lines. So instead, here's some boring technical details. They are technically similar to the DSB class MY of Denmark and the MAV M61 of Hungary. The locomotives are powered by a 16-cylinder EMD 16.567C or E engine that has a power output of 1305 kilowatts at 835 RPM. The engines power an EMD D32 or D12 generator that feeds 6 AS, AA, LJB76 or LJB84 motors on a DI3A. The DI3B is equipped with 4 EMD D40 or D77B motors. This gives a tractive effort of 265 kilonewtons for the A series and 176.5 kilonewtons for the B series. The motors have a power output of 1100 kilowatts. The maximum speed is 105 kilometers per hour for the A series and 143 kilometers per hour for the B series. The B series are 3 out of the 5 units originally intended for Finland. I should have mentioned that earlier. The A series has a CO-CO wheel arrangement, while the B series has a A1A A1A arrangement, where the center of the 3 axles on each bogie is unpowered. The wheels have a 1016 millimeter wheel diameter, and the locomotives have a weight of 102 tons for the A series and 103 tons for the B series. The trains can be run in multiple units with the DI4, the DI6 and the DI8. All the DI3 engines featured a bulldog nose, the only locomotive type in Norway to do so, which is not surprising if you do the Scandinavian thing of building shit under a license and giving it a new name. And even though each newer model is licensed from a different manufacturer, you still name them in a series. Sweden! The first locomotives were at first delivered in a dark green livery, but during the 1960s this was changed to red, and the last delivered units never had a green scheme.
Riveting!
Okay, so while NSB stopped using these engines in 2001, some of the 19 units are still in use. While most of them are still in Scandinavia, 8 units were sold off to Kosovo and Sicily, getting 4 each. NSB also scrapped a bunch in the late 90s and uses one for track maintenance. And this is where our story ends. While the DI3 was not the first diesel engine on Norway's railroads, that's why the 3 is in there, it was the diesel engine that finally ended the use of steam engines there. It's one of Norway's prolific engines, with its bullnose design characteristic to the new diesel atomic era in which it was designed. Just looking at it, you can tell it was designed in the 1950s. But like most oh shit, we might be running out of oil and also destroying the environment while doing it era diesel locomotives, its use had to come to an end, replaced with newer, more efficient engine as the DI3 became almost pointless to maintain. Or, just do the shitty thing rich countries do and dump its old equipment for pennies to some poor Eastern European country.